It was the summer when I turned 16 and got my license. I had always wanted a car, and my father and I spent our evenings working on one he had bought for us to fix up together. It was a special project for us, something we bonded over and looked forward to every day. But that summer, my world was turned upside down. It was the week before Christmas, and the heat was unbearable. People were flocking to the lake to escape the heat, but one person never made it back. That person was my sister's boyfriend, Jeremy. When Jeremy's body was pulled from the lake, there was no water in his lungs. He hadn't drowned. It was a mystery that puzzled everyone in town, and the rumors began to fly. Some said he had been murdered, others said it was an accident. The only thing that was certain was that Jeremy was gone. 10 years have passed since that fateful summer, and every time I return home to visit my parents, I find myself slowing down as I approach the lake. The memories come flooding back, and I can't help but think about the long days of summer, the police investigations, and the whispers of gossip that circulated around town. I remember the last day of Jeremy's life, as told to the police by those who had seen him. He and my sister Taylor had been out drinking the night before, and when they woke up, the house was littered with empty bottles and glasses. Jeremy was hungover and quiet, worried about the money he owed to Dean and Pete Ryan. Taylor made them coffee and asked if he wanted anything to eat, but Jeremy wasn't hungry. He smoked a couple of cigarettes, and then took a shower, getting dressed in the jeans and navy t-shirt he would wear on the day he died. He told Taylor he was going to visit a friend and left, tires squealing as he drove away. At the Mobil on the corner, he stopped to buy more cigarettes and an energy drink. That's where Pete Ryan found him, telling him it was time to collect. After leaving the Mobil, Jeremy came to our house to ask my father for money. My dad and I were in the garage working on the car when Jeremy pulled up. My dad looked at him coldly, and they went inside to talk. I followed and listened from outside the door. Jeremy was desperate and begged my father for help, but my dad refused. He told Jeremy he had to deal with his own problems and that he wasn't going to bail him out. My father was firm, and I could tell he was angry. After Jeremy left, I asked my dad what was going on. He told me about the money Jeremy owed to the Ryan brothers and how he had gotten himself into a dangerous situation. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Jeremy had always been a little wild, but I never would have thought he was capable of getting mixed up with people like the Ryan brothers. As the day went on, the heat continued to press down on the town. People were starting to get anxious and restless. That's when my sister Taylor received the call. Jeremy's car had been found abandoned by the lake, and there was no sign of him. The police were called and a search was launched. It wasn't long before Jeremy's body was found, floating in the lake. The mystery of his death was finally solved, but the pain and heartache it caused was immeasurable. It was a summer I would never forget, a summer that changed everything. It was the summer that Jeremy was pulled dead from the lake, and the summer that I learned about the harsh realities of life and the dangers of getting involved with the wrong people. It was a lesson that would stay with me forever, and one that I would never forget. As I stood by the lake, lost in my thoughts, I couldn't help but wonder what might have been if things had turned out differently. If Jeremy had never gotten mixed up with the Ryan brothers, if my father had agreed to help him, if the heat had let up just a little bit. But it was too late for regrets, and all I could do was try to move on and make the most of the life I had left. I climbed back into my car and continued on my way, determined to make the most of the present and not get caught up in the past. It was a difficult lesson to learn, but one that I would carry with me always.